I am so sad to inform everyone that we have a crisis on our hands. We have a missing characters crisis in Animal Crossing New Horizons. Did you know that some precious near and dear characters were replaced in Animal Crossing New Horizons with a postcard stand or the custom designs portal? Oh yeah, all of these used to be living, breathing, adorable characters, and they are not in the game anymore. Now, before the 2.0 update, I very much had some FOMO whenever it came to Animal Crossing. There are multiple Animal Crossing titles that preceded New Horizons, but like many of y'all, New Horizons was my first Animal Crossing game. So before the 2.0 update in 2021, I still had never met Brewster. I had never interacted with Katrina or Tortimer, who now thankfully we have the opportunity to meet on Harv's Island, nor did I understand who Captain was or exactly what he did. Thankfully, the update rectified the majority of that situation and we were able to meet a lot of those characters that were missing. But like I said, we still have a crisis on our hands and there are still missing characters in Animal Crossing New Horizons. But hold on one second, okay? There is a sneaky little way where you can meet, greet, experience the lore and plot points of all of the missing characters. Before we dive into it, I wanted to give a shout out to my partner animalcrossingportal.com. They're going to be linked in the description box below and offer tons of family-friendly Animal Crossing related content, experiences, news, and my personal favorite, a villager tier list that they update every single month where you can vote on popularity. You can sort them by species, by personality, or you can simply see overall which villagers are going to be ranked top tier every single month. Now, going back to our missing characters, I believe that Nintendo wanted to give purchasers of amiibo cards a reason to use them in New Horizons, but of course, several amiibo cards exist for characters that don't appear in this specific title. Thankfully, with the addition of the Roost in New Horizons, we are able to scan in, yes, even those amiibo cards to meet these special characters. You can invite Wendell. He's a walrus who has a lot of different roles throughout the Animal Crossing titles, ranging from a wallpaper salesman to a traveling artist, but all of his jobs seem to circle around being a starving artist. There's also Phineas. He's a sea lion who is able to hand out badges to different players throughout the game. And not to mention, look at his absolutely adorable Boy Scout kind of inspired outfit that he's wearing. It really is amazing to see these characters that otherwise we would have to look at old gameplay footage to visit, now modeled in New Horizons with all of the current graphics. Not only are their graphics amazing, but you can also experience their story, their lore. For example, whenever I invited Gracie, I found out that she was a celebrity fashion designer, and she is the one that gave Label the original name of LaBelle. Also, let me just say, it would be amazing to have giraffe villagers in the game. Just saying, Nintendo. They would be very cute. One character I particularly found interesting to invite was DJ KK. Now, technically, without giving any spoilers, DJ KK is in Animal Crossing New Horizons if you purchase the DLC Happy Home Paradise, and hilariously, he does neither confirm nor deny that he is KK Slider's alter ego. Of course, selfishly, I had to invite Katie. Is she my soul sister? Or maybe we just share the same name? I don't know. But Katie is a character that is not in New Horizons at all, unfortunately. Yes, I take that personally, but I digress. In previous titles, she was a lost kitten and she wanted to be reunited with her mother. And even though she isn't in New Horizons, like the others, you can invite her to the Roost and have a little coffee date. I was also very excited to meet Porter. Porter is an adorable, good little monkey boy who in previous Animal Crossing series would run the train station. Obviously, in New Horizons, we have the airport, but similarly to Wilbur and Orville, Porter is in charge of the train station. But you guys, that's not all. You can also invite characters like Blanca, Dr. Shrunk. I was also able to meet Pete, who unfortunately in Animal Crossing New Horizons was replaced by a postcard stand in the airport. But in previous games, Pete was a pelican who would hand deliver all of the mail. Also, apparently he has quite the crush on another pelican, Phyllis. Also, some characters, when you invite them to the Roost, they will notify you that they are bringing along company, meaning you don't need every single amiibo card to have an experience in New Horizons with these special characters. For example, I invited Pete's crush, Phyllis to the roost, and she brought along her sister Pelly, even though I don't even own Pelly's amiibo card. While Pete is in charge of delivering the mail in previous Animal Crossing games, sisters Pelly and Phyllis are in charge of manning the post office, and they split their shifts between nighttime and daytime. And look at that, Pete is actually also in the background spying on Phyllis. Is it cute and endearing, or is it creepy? I don't know, I'm gonna let y'all decide. After speaking with them, you realize that Pelly has a crush on Pete, and of course Pete has a crush on Phyllis, but Phyllis wants absolutely nothing to do with Pete. It is quite the tragic love triangle. But I love how bringing these characters into New Horizons still gives players the chance, like myself, to experience that storyline and lore, even though we haven't played on previous titles. You can also meet Daisy May's infamous grandma Joan. The two of them come to the roost together, and I have to say the details in these interactions are just so precious. Look at how Daisy May is given a cookie at the roost because she is just a little bit too young to be served coffee. When you invite Lyle, an otter who is the town insurance agent, he brings along with him some very familiar faces, but also previous co-workers, Tom Nook, Digby, and Lottie, as they all have a history of working together in previous games. If you want to have a coffee with Booker, you can invite him, and he will bring along his working partner and fellow police officer Copper, and vice versa. Also, did you know that Isabelle has a twin brother? If Digby looks familiar, it's not because he's Isabelle's boyfriend, which I originally thought, and that's very embarrassing. Digby is in fact Isabelle's twin brother. That's right, he is in charge of the Happy Home Showcase in New Leaf, and when you invite him to the roost, he brings along Isabelle so they can have a little sibling coffee break together. Now, two characters that are technically a part of New Horizons but don't get any face time would be Dawn and Rossetti. In previous titles, these moles were responsible for alerting players and reminding them to save their game so that way they wouldn't lose any progress after they quit playing for the day. However, when Nintendo implemented auto-saving, of course these moles then became jobless. In New Horizons, however, when players call rescue services, a few hints reveal that it's actually Rossetti on the other line, and being in charge of rescue services are the jobs they have now. So these once faceless characters very much become real and tangible whenever you invite them to the roost. In fact, you might even be able to meet Rossetti without having their amiibo card at all, as a lot of players have reported seeing Rossetti on a bar stool in the roost and making an appearance there from time to time. Thankfully, we were introduced to Canon as a part of the Animal Crossing New Horizons 2.0 update, but did you know that he has an entire family that's a part of the other Animal Crossing titles? And yes, if you invite him or any of his family members to the roost, they all come together as a unit. And similarly to Daisy May, Captain's cute little daughter also receives a little cookie instead of coffee since she's a little bit too young. And then finally, we have Nat and Chip. And no, you are not having deja vu. These are actually Flick and CJ's fathers. If you are to invite Nat to the roost to have some coffee, he will bring along his buddy Chip. And like their sons in New Horizons, these two were responsible for the bug off and the fishing tournament in previous titles. Not to mention their dialogue in the roost when you speak to them about their sons is just absolutely precious. It really does warm my heart. Now, there are not amiibos for characters like Cornimer, the OK Motors brothers, the Snow People, and a handful of others, but essentially any character with an amiibo card you can invite to the roost and have that wonderful lore and experience with them. I hope y'all enjoyed today's video. Let me know in the comments which NPC or special character that's not a part of New Horizons you would like to scan into the game and get to know. For me, of course, I loved meeting Katie, but Gracie was pretty fabulous as well, I can't lie. I hope y'all are having an amazing morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time it is, wherever you are. Happy time zone to you, and I will see y'all in the next one. Bye!